r/ask Reddit. If Reddit existed in 1919, what kind of questions would be asked here? And we are approaching the 1920s. What are your fondest memories of the 1910s? Polio. Spanish flu survival tips. Help me decide if I should go to art school or get into politics. Try for art school. If that doesn't work, go for politics. Since you likely fought in the Great War, you likely have a very accurate perception on geopolitics. We did it, Reddit. We helped a fellow Redditor get into politics. We'll be keeping an eye on you, Mr. Hitler. I envisage great things for you. Oh no, he just attempted a coup and got arrested. Shame really, he had a bright political future ahead of him. He's such a fantastically moving orator though. I'm sure he'll make it one day. I bet he'll be some kind of public speaker or a summer camp leader. Oh no, Mr. Hitler, what are you doing? Stop. No, he remilitarized the Rhineland. Oh god no, this breaks the Versailles Treaty. 1 exclamation point 1 exclamation point 1 exclamation point 1 exclamation point exclamation point exclamation point 1. No. Mr. Hitler, you can't just annex Austria. Now you've got Neville saying there's peace in our time. No, Mr. Hitler, you just can't take the Sudetenland. Too late, Chamberlain. Should women vote? Should women upvote? Thank you for making me laugh. Imagine how complicated this would be, though. Women could pose as men on their accounts just to upvote, etc. IDK, just a thought. Are there any women here today? Murmur, no. Very well. By virtue of the authority vested in me, are you a woman? You have to admit it. If I ask, it's the law. Men of us credit. What's something your spouse does that's nifty? To those idiots who drive 20 miles per hour in their automobile, who hurt you in life. It's funny. At the time they believed that high speeds would impact your insides and cause all sorts of organ damage. Mind you, not from crashes and the like, merely moving at high speed. What I always wondered about in regard to that fact, trains were a thing back then. And while they didn't reach modern train speeds, they could get quite fast. And no died from high speeds when traveling by train. So why would a car be any different? They thought the same about trains too. I read somewhere that they believed that if women went on a fast train, that their wombs would fall out. Women who show their knees. Why do you hate Jesus? Like women would have been allowed to post on the internet. Men who know women who show their knees. Why do they hate Jesus? Obligatory. Don't know a woman that shows her knees, but know a friend that knows a woman that shows her knees. How can I stop my kids from being so lazy? All they do is walk 5 hours in snow-filled mountains without shoes to get to school. Back in my day we walked 10 hours to school uphill both ways through molten lava, carrying alligators on our backs, which was the style of the time. And we had 40 of us living in a cardboard box in the middle of the road. We woke up 5 hours before we went to sleep, licked the box clean, ate a lump of cold poison before working for 48 hours with no pay, and then going to school for 10 hours with no breaks before father put us to sleep by stabbing us in the throat. Or repeat the cycle the next day. Right. I used to get up at 10 o'clock at night, half an hour before I went to bed, drink a cup of sulfuric acid, work 29 hours a day down at the mill, and pay the mill owner for permission to come to work. And when we got home, our dad would kill us and dance about on our graves, singing hallelujah. Serious, what is your most terrifying we need to leave now random rush of fear you felt? My car was stolen the very night I moved into my new house in a very good neighborhood. The neighbors had warned us that the neighborhood was being targeted at the time. They mentioned a woman around the corner that opened the door for knockers in the middle of the night, and they attacked her and robbed her and almost killed her. We had reported the car stolen and did the police reports when it happened. Well, 2 nights later in the middle of the night I hear a knock on the door and they said, "Open up, it's the police." Well, since I had heard the story about the other lady, I was suspicious and did not answer. I grabbed my kids and put them in my daughter's room because it had access to the roof from the window. I called the police to say that 2 men claiming to be police are pounding on my door. They said there was no police in the area and they are sending a car. Turns out, these same guys stole the car and came back for seconds. I did get my car back because they brought it with. How nice of them. Hope they brought it back with a full tank of gas too. My uncle used to steal cars and return them from where he got them with a full tank of gas. He truly believed it would somehow make it okay. Still went to jail. I was a 13-year-old girl, camping with my best friend and her mom by a lake. My friend's mom was not the world's best mother and allowed my friend to get drunk. I had one drink, so I was a little tipsy, but still had my wits about me. It was about 11 at night, and my very drunk friend randomly decided to go swimming, so I chased after her to keep an eye on her and make sure she didn't hurt herself. And God, I'm so glad I did. 2 men followed us out to the lake. We didn't notice until my friend and I had swam a few dozen yards into the water. The men were very drunk, stumbling with their beer bottles in hand. They were catcalling us as they waded into the water, getting closer and closer. My friend was so drunk and wanting so badly to seem cool to these grown-up men. Drunk 13-year-olds aren't the most rational thinkers. At first, she tried to respond to their questions, but I knew something very bad would happen if we didn't get away, so I repeatedly whispered to her, "They're going to wrap us. They're going to wrap us. We need to leave now." I think that finally knocked some sense in her inebriated brain, and she agreed to swim towards the shore with me, away from the men. They called after us, asking where we were going, and my friend yelled, "Away from you." Back then, I second guessed myself and wondered if maybe I had been a little dramatic. But now, as an adult, I realize just how much danger we were in, and I'm so thankful that 13-year-old me knew to trust her gut. Back then, I second guessed myself and wondered if maybe I had been a little dramatic. But now, as an adult, I realize just how much danger we were in, and I'm so thankful that 13-year-old me knew to trust her gut. It's incredible, our ability to second guess ourselves in the face of obvious danger. When I was in elementary school, 4th grade, my friend and I were walking home from school along a main street when some dude pulled out along a side street in a white van and asked us to help him find his puppy. We said no and crossed the street. But the fucker pulled onto the main street, got to the next side street, and then pulled out in front of us again. He waited there, and we stopped about halfway between blocks because we didn't want to get close to his van. We just stood there until he finally left. When we got home we told our parents what happened, and the school sent out a bulletin. Seemed a little overboard to me, since at the time I genuinely thought this guy might be looking for his lost puppy and he really needed the help of some 8-year-olds. I had just done as I was told and not engaged the stranger and followed my gut. But still, years later I remembered this whole experience and realized there was no fucking way this dude was looking for his puppy. His goal was to rap and probably kill. No fucking way. My choices that day made the biggest difference in my life to date. TL. Doctor, Stranger Danger.